Hi, Tim.
Rude shit, man.
Sorry, I forgot about you for the past 2 hours.
Oh, he's pissed.
He's like, I'm talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you this time.
I have nothing to say.
So, welcome back again, everybody, to maybe part 3. So, last time we talked about how horribly everything went for the Allied troops that were landed on Cape Helles and Anzac Cove.
Just dead bodies,
flies shitting themselves. It just yeah, they had the shitting diseases. It's bad.
Hey, we have one of those.
Yeah, and you know what we were just talking at the beginning of the episode? How we would never know.
We would never know.
You could have dysentery, and you would never know. I think
we would know if it was dysentery.
I think if it went that far, you probably.
Yeah, I think.
So it's just like awful stuff, stacked and stacked and stacked.
Yes.
Dead people everywhere. It's really, really bad. They don't go anywhere. The Anzac troops are like hardly off of the shore. Yeah, they're at war. Yeah, he's very good. He said we're at war.
He's like, that's all I'm gonna say, and I'm not talking about the fucking.
Maybe he's talking about us.
I think he's like we're fucking fighting, bitch.
Hey, my doodle dandies, this is Kelsey.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're That's So Macaroni.
Yeah.
Now we talk about the August offensive. There's a lot of moving parts of the August offensive, so there's a bit to cover. It happens at both Cape Helles and Anzac Cove, and we add a third beachfront, which is a huge pain in the ass. So it's going to be the final drive forward the Allies would need in order to take the peninsula, and it would include many, many military actions happening at the same time. And they're going to get all the way across the peninsula. Okay? For sure. It's gonna happen, and they're going to take those guns, and then they're going to be able to go up the Dardanelles, and then they're going to get to Constantinople, which is now Istanbul, but it was Constantinople. So
every time you say that, I'm just going to dance a little.
I appreciate it. The British troops would break out at Helles with the Battle of Krithia Vineyard. Just can't call it the Battle of Krithia 4. It's too much.
Do they
it's
have
like
wine?
The Fast and Furious. It's too much. They did it Krithia. They didn't share.
Rude.
The Australian troops would create a diversion attack at Lone Pine on the 400 Plateau, southeast of Anzac Cove. Australian, British, Indian, and New Zealand troops would assault Sari Bar. New Zealand Infantry Brigade would assault Chunuk Bar. The Australian 4th Brigade would assault Hill 971, and the 3rd Light Horse Brigade, without their horses, would attack at the neck. And
How
all
are you
those
a horse brigade without horses?
Because they're supposed to have horses, but because it's such shitty terrain, they left their horses in Egypt so that they could just be used as regular infantry.
They should have changed their name then.
But that's still their big brigade, and they still have ponies in Egypt.
No. You don't have them with you. You don't get to call yourself that.
Well, they did. So, and then we have fresh and shiny new British troops and about 300 Australian engineers landing at Suvla Bay, which is jewelry. Okay. Which is about 8 kilometers north of Anzac. We'll talk about Cape Helles because we were just there. We ended the last episode at Cape Helles. So we're just going to start there. Derpa. The last assault at Cape Helles is the Battle of Krithia Vineyard, like I said, from August 6th to the 13th, 1915. Like I said, you just can't call it the 4th battle.
Okay.
It's too many.
There's a lot of battles. Yeah.
They weren't going to try to swing around this time.
Okay.
They changed tactics. No more swinging around.
I mean...
And that's because Hunter Weston is no longer in charge.
Yeah, I was about to say, obviously, that wasn't working, so
Hamilton's like, what do you got for me? He's like, okay, picture this. We take Krithia, swing around. He's like, fuck, you're fired. I cannot take another swing.
Picture this. Sicily, 1912. Sorry.
Exactly. Thank you, Sophia. This time, they're going to try to capture the strongholds and trenches along the Kurtadere or Krithia Valley.
Okay.
These areas all seem to have different names all the time. So I'm just doing my best to, because some are in Turkish and then some are in English and some are they were given like nicknames.
Like translated.
Yeah, and so it's all over the place. I also spent a lot of time looking at maps.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the.
Well, you're a really shitty fucking map because where are we? Anyways,
I don't.
Dora
know.
is in Gallipoli and it's scary. No, she's not. Okay.
No, she's not.
Stop your bullshit and tell a story. Okay.
Just finish your fucking story.
Sorry. Okay, so been at this for so long. He said, "Let me." Okay, go ahead.
All right, take it away, you little witch.
The Navy would bombard Krithia. All available artillery and machine guns were brought to the front, and the attack would be split along the northern ravine, with the British going in on August 6th and the southern one being taken on the 7th. So 2 ravines along a ridge.
Okay.
Headquarters was extremely confident this would work. The Ottomans had been oddly quiet lately in the Cape Helles region. Their only activity was half-assed raid on part of the British line, so this means that they're not very strong anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, with all of the casualties, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that at all. They had this feeling that the British were not done trying to get Krithia because they had tried 3 times prior, and they saved their ammunition for this eventuality.
Oh, okay.
A website said, quote, "No hint had yet reached them that an attack at Helles was imminent, but all preparations had been made to meet eventualities, and the Turkish battlefront in the south was well organized and prepared," end quote. So, I mean, like, it says there's no hint, but like, they've been trying to get that for months.
Yeah. Like, it's not really a hint.
That's a hint. Yeah.
It's not really a hint, though. It's like a, hey, this is going to happen.
Face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we really want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this time we're not doing any swinging. When the British bombardment started, so did the answer from the Ottomans, and the British lines suffered greatly because the trenches were super packed with men who were waiting to go over the top for the assault. So they were all just like sardined in there and then blown to smithereens. The troops do go over, though, right on time, and they start taking Ottoman trenches pretty easily, but then it goes to shit again. They're not elderly. No, Tim. Be relevant.
Be so fucking for real right now.
Where am I? Oh, right. Okay, so the Ottomans are gunning them down in the trenches that they have taken and relentlessly firing at those who are still in no man's land. Quote, "At the end of an hour, the only British still holding out in this part of the line were 30 men," this word is not for me, "of the Worcestershire."
Sure.
Okay. Under a sergeant. Their numbers dwindled, and after nightfall, the 12 survivors withdrew to their own lines.
Dude, I wouldn't have even waited. If I was one of the 31 originally, I'd been like,
and those are
why?
already the mode, like,
yeah,
who have just like found a hiding spot. Although you have to just find a hiding spot and hope that you can crawl back once darkness falls.
Yeah, like fuck
like
that.
You're stuck pinned down. Oh, so
you know what
shitty.
I would do? I would just pause them and play dead.
Yeah,
that would be it.
That's really the best plan at this point.
Yeah,
lay down. There were so many wounded coming back that one of the lieutenant colonels wrote to the brigade major that there were many injured men clogging the trenches, and he couldn't organize his men to go around them to get over. So there's so many wounded people that they can't get the not wounded people to go fight, and he was able to convince the higher ups to cancel the offensive.
Okay. That's good.
Although the fighting continued until the 13th, the major assaults were done on the 7th. It took all of a day. The 29th Division engaged 3,000 men in this assault.
Jesus Christ.
Of those, 2,000 would become casualties on the 6th. Alone.
That's crazy.
Right?
War is so fucking
wasteful.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the 6th and 7th of August, the 42nd Division lost another 1,600 men. So for a total of 3,600 men dead.
And this is the British.
Or injured, sorry.
That are losing people.
Yep.
Just fucking go home.
He said open it. Open what?
I can't open this. It doesn't open. I can't crochet, so this is what I have to do when Kelsey talks.
I've decided I'm just going to start making blankets because they're really easy for me to just like go until the very end of a line and then just turn around to go again. So I don't have to try to like concentrate on anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Make a bunch of blankets. Okay. So that's a real bad time of it.
Yep.
And then we go back up to Anzac Cove and Suvla Bay to see what's going on up there because a lot of shit's going on up there. We have, for starters, the diversionary attack at Lone Pine. The diversion, bioluminescent algae. This attack was to draw Ottoman reserves away from the heights. This is why I didn't turn you on.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like you made a mistake.
I did. I feel like I did. I'm just going to turn it down and let him talk until.
Although it was pretty quiet earlier. It was kind of nice.
He's gonna be like hurt feelings.
Or he's just gonna like whisper shit like into Connor's ear. These fucking bitches.
Okay.
I remember what your car looks like.
Great. Okay. So the attack at Lone Pine. It was to draw Ottomans away from Tunic Bear. And if the Allies were able to capture Tunic Bear, it would give them the high ground fucking finally. So it's really important that they get all this right. At 5:30 p.m. on August 6th, the sun was setting directly into the eyes of the Ottomans. Bloody. Yes, Tim, it was bloody.
War is usually bloody.
And so the Australians had the advantage, like in a car, when you drive into the sun, except for now, what's coming at you, it's dark. It's almost dark, is guns and bayonets and stuff. So many of the Ottoman trenches had this cute little timber roofs to protect them, but it didn't work. Good news, or bad news, depending on who you are. Australians were able to shoot down into those timber roofs and bayonet through the slats. Just like horrifying. So they're like stabbing their heads through the trenches.
Interesting.
They moved quickly, like Tim said. And made their way into the trenches and were able to take most of the front line and make their way as far back as the comm trenches, 20 meters behind them. Bad news, or good news, depending on who you are. Night fell, and now they're in the trenches with their enemy. So for 3 nights, chaos reigned as the fighting took place underground in a maze of Ottoman trenches.
I feel like I would try and trick the other side.
It's the underground part. I
get it.
Oh, fucking hate it. Okay. Australian engineers dug a trench across no man's land for safe passage of reinforcements. And despite desperate attempts of the Ottomans to get those buggers out of there, they just kept coming. Private John Gamage of the 1st Battalion wrote, quote, "The wounded bodies of both Turks and Anzacs were piled up 3 and 4 deep. The bombs simply poured in. But as fast as our men went down, another would take his place." End quote.
Jesus. Nah.
Yeah. When the battle was over, 23 Rapture, yes.
All right, Sharon, get the fuck out of here.
2,300 Australians were killed or wounded, and over 6,000 Ottomans suffered the same fate.
Damn.
Lone Pine was considered an Allied victory, but it fell into stalemate, as they tend to in World War I, from August 9th until the evacuation of the forces in December.
Damn.
Sat there. Now, the main objective, the big one, the Saribar Ridge. This consists of Tunic Bear, Hill 971, Hill Q, and the Neck.
Okay.
All in all, there were about 20,000 troops involved from the Allies in capturing Tunic Bear, Hill 971, and Hill Q. A right column.
Are you saying hill or hail?
Hill.
Hill. Okay.
Hill.
Thank you.
It's okay. Dan and I realized we were talking about it, that I want to leave.
Bye.
Go.
Bye.
Go. That's kind of rude. So I have a hard time saying stuff. My throat never actually got better. I just learned how to talk again. Because no one could figure out what was wrong with me when I lost my voice for 3 months.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's interesting because if we watch videos of me before this happened, my voice is different. It's got like a lower timber now.
Yeah.
And it's slower. Like I can't say things the same way.
I can see that.
So
What's wrong with Kelsey? Did I not tell you
Did I
she
not tell
lost
you?
her voice?
Oh, she like can't talk. Yeah, she's just kind of coming back into like the speaking world, and she sounds a little bit like she has like Parkinson's. It's really bad. Anyways, better now with lots and lots of practice and careful pronunciation.
You got this.
Thanks. So there's 20,000 Allied troops going for Chinook Bear, Hill 971, and Hill Q. A right column would go up Chinook Bear. Go slowly. Okay, I will go slowly. Thank you, Tim. A left column would split to attack Hill 971 and Hill Q. The left column would dig in, and the right would sweep over, swing around.
I thought we weren't swinging anymore.
They're actually sweeping over.
Oh,
They're not swinging around. They're sweeping over.
Semantics. All right.
With help from the attacks at the neck and baby 700. Lots of moving parts that all have to be appropriately timed. So, starting with Chinook Bear, and the men were able to approach at night on the 6th, but like I said before, the terrain is difficult to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
And in the dark, it is really hard, so they didn't make it as far as they were supposed to. They were eventually pinned down under Ottoman fire, and Lieutenant Colonel William Malone was like, nope, we are waiting until it's dark again because our men are getting fucking slaughtered.
Yeah.
At dawn on the 8th, they creepy crawl up the mountain and they find success.
Oh, good.
They are on the top of Chinook Bear.
Okay.
And they stand up, and it's like that. It's like when, of course, you've seen Finding Dory with the sea lions, and they give Gerald the moment on the rock, and they say, "This is your time on the rock."
Yes.
Off. And then the Ottomans come and they push them all back off the mountain. Yep. And they're not there anymore. The New Zealanders lost the ridge and most of their men.
Oh.
Quote, of the 760 Wellington battalion who had captured the height that morning, there came out only 70 unwounded or slightly wounded. End quote. So it's very grim.
Yes.
There is an additional 767 casualties from other units during that battle as well.
Okay.
That was just the one battalion.
Yeah. You know what? At least they made it to the top.
They did.
They did.
They were able to see their objective one time.
Yeah. One's better than none.
I suppose. I mean, but now like 700 of your friends are dead, so that's kind of rough.
Yeah.
The Gurkhas, who we talked about last episode, the like SEAL Team 6, Nepalese troops, they had succeeded in taking Hill Q on the 7th. They got there. They won. But due to friendly fire, they were shelled by naval artillery, a mistake from the British. And they're like, oh my God. And they had to run away.
Those must not be ours. That's crazy. We can't get on top of anything.
That's what she said. For Hill 971, I could only find that said that it failed with heavy casualties. And I couldn't find anything more concrete.
Probably wasn't like...
There's no one surviving who can tell the story of what happened there. They're like,
or like it was just so quick that like they don't even know what happened.
Like, it's just bad. The next big place is the neck. That's where the Light Horse Brigade would be without their ponies. That's what makes them light horses. You know, it's like 0 calories, light horse. Oh, the brigade, behold the horse. Anyways, they'd be at the center of these attacks, and therefore they would suffer greatly. Okay, so they were supposed to have support from the New Zealanders, who would, remember, sweep down, not swing out.
Not swing, but sweep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
From Chinook Bear, because they succeeded in the time frame they were supposed to, of course. But General Birdwood decided to go ahead with the attack, if for no other reason than to distract the Ottomans from Chinook Bear, because it's going real bad. And he can tell. The bombardment from the beach at Anzac and some of the naval ships was supposed to end at 4:30 a.m. on the dot, and then the men would immediately go over the top.
Mm-hmm.
However, the watches of the naval officers and the men at the neck were not synced, and the bombardment ended 7 minutes early.
Isn't that like
kind of fucking important.
Yeah, like first thing we do, we should sync our watches.
One would think, because 7 minutes is all it took for the Ottomans to reman their trenches and reset up all their machine guns.
That's crazy.
So all of that bombardment that happened for nothing.
I'm definitely beginning to see why Sir Hamilton has a book written about how bad he fucked up. Yep.
Messy shit. So the whistle blew and the first wave of men swept over the top. All 150 were gunned down within a minute. The second wave goes over. Not all of us. Oh, interesting. Not all of us, he says. Okay.
I did not sage before we started, so
elaborate. The second wave went over and they suffered the same fate. Very few were unharmed, but they were pinned down in no man's land with no hope. The commander of the men in the third wave tried frantically to get the assault canceled, but to no avail. The third wave went over at 4:45 a.m. So all of this, by the way, has happened in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In this time, most immediately flattened themselves to the ground, trying to become one with the shell holes. It worked better, but it still didn't go well. The fourth wave was mostly called off, but some didn't get the memo in time and they went over.
Yeah, I feel like since, they don't know how to sync their watches, I'm sure they're not going to tell everybody to not go.
Right? Awful. All in all, Tim says, I want to talk. I'm not paying attention.
He's like, you moved my fucking picture and now you won't let me speak?
Yeah, he's like, we have a problem. We don't, though. We're not doing this. Okay. All in all, of these 600 men in the 3rd Light Horse Brigade, 372 would become casualties in 15 minutes.
That's crazy. Nah. Hard pass.
The total casualties for the Anzac troops, not all of them, but just the Anzac, the Australian New Zealand Army Corps, would be 12,500 for just those offensives.
Jesus Christ.
Just trying to take the hills. And now we add Suvla Bay.
Okay. Souffle.
Suvla Bay. Move it, he says. Okay. So the landing was scheduled for August 6th, 1915, coinciding with Prithia Vineyard at Cape Helles and the attack at Lone Pine near Anzac Cove in the cover of darkness on the night of the 6th. I looked it up because I knew you'd want to know. The moon was a waning crescent, only about 18 to 22% illuminated, and it would rise at 2 a.m.
Okay.
So from the time that it started, the landing started at 9:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. They had to get to shore. That's all they had to do.
Okay.
Way back in part 1, I had talked about how the Anzacs wanted to go under cover of darkness, and they had kind of a hard time getting there. And they had like 2 hours to get all the way to their goal. From the ship to the goal in 2 hours of darkness. They had more time now. So that's nice.
Helpful. Yeah.
That's good.
An avocado.
Thanks. Exactly.
Yeah.
Von Sanders had some warning that another landing would occur, but he wasn't sure where. He was sure it had to be at Bulair, so that's where he still was. So the beaches at Suvla Bay were lightly defended. The landing parties had armored lighters this time, and lighters are like big, kind of like barges, like more like closer to what you see in the D-Day landings.
Okay.
So this time they armored it to add protection to the troops in case of enemy fire. And we see Captain Unwin again. He comes back, the man on the River Clyde. He saw it go so wrong, he decided to make it go a little bit better.
Just trying to help?
Yep. So he designed these ships. They were steam powered this time, so not rowing. They were self-propelled, and they had a lowering ramp that let off 4 men at a time.
Okay.
It's already going better.
Yeah.
Tim says he's confused.
That's fine.
Take note. I'll make sure to explain better next time. There's 3 beaches here, and they are easily named A, B, and C.
I was hoping you were going to say like A, B, and 3.
That would piss me off, so I'm just going to roll my computer. And S Beach. Fuck! I'm going to attack there first. That pisses me off. The men who landed on B and C beaches of the bay found themselves lightly opposed, and they were able to take their objective of Lalababa Hill. And that's a fun one.
That is a fun one.
Lalababa. And wait for the rest of the men before continuing. B and C beaches were actually on the outside of Suvla Bay itself, just north of Anzac. So Suvla Bay kind of goes a little bit like this, with like this is the bay, and it kind of goes boop, just a little bit. They're here.
Okay.
And then A beach is inside.
Okay.
And they had a harder time. Their beach, like I said, was in the bay, and some of their landing craft couldn't get to shore. They were running aground on shoals about 200 yards away.
Okay.
That's 2 football fields. And it's a long way when it's in the water.
According to Google, that's what it says.
Sounds right.
Okay. Because I want some football person being like, are you fucking stupid? Yes, I am. But this is what Google told me.
I'm not stupid. I just don't pay attention to football. Fuck you guys. Okay. But the men can't just like hop off. As with some of the men at V Beach, they would drown because of their heavy packs. And I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They would sink right to the bottom and drown.
Yeah.
And so in addition to being shot at and getting caught into barbed wire,
you could also drown.
You could also just drown.
Mm-hmm.
This beach, he asked where, in Gallipoli, where we've been for the past 3 episodes.
Oh, he wasn't listening because you didn't turn him on?
Mm-hmm. Where are we again? I think I missed something. Anyways, this beach was also initially lightly guarded, but the Ottomans were able to open fire on the men landing at the beach before they decided to drop back to better positions to wait for the reinforcements. By 10 a.m. on the 7th, 30,000 additional British troops were put to shore at on the Suvla Bay beaches. I don't even know if I should address that. Tim said, "What are you doing here?" Telling a story, Tim.
He's fucking pissed.
I was like, I think he's just kind of fucking with me right now. The initial landing party was again given a goal and a directive and told to wait for others. They were to take Courage Tepe and Teketepe, about 4 miles inland. And again, they were waiting on someone who was late. The 2 divisions who were landing at Suvla were the 10th and 11th divisions. They were brand spanking new to the war at all and freshly trained. They were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and excited for war.
And late.
Okay. Yes. The 11th made it to shore with a little incident and started putting around, just waiting for the 10th. I don't know why the 10th was late.
I mean, that is before the 11th, so they should have been first.
One would think.
Mm.
Weird. Did I not talk about Stopford? I guess I just assumed we would know who he was.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh, right. That sucks. Okay, so Stopford is a major general or somebody who was recruited to now take over the Suvla Bay landings.
Okay.
That's going to be his job, but he's like hella old and retired. And the positions that he held were those administrative ones because he was a lord or something.
Yeah.
So he did not have experience.
So was this just like his one last hurrah before he dies?
I have no fucking clue. They were like, come out of retirement. And he was like, all right. And so he goes to do this. And he had a much more, he had smaller goals.
Okay.
Which a lot of them, as you can tell from most of the story, was this grand goal. We're going to get across the peninsula by lunch.
Yeah.
Done by Christmas.
Yeah.
And Stopford's like, how about we just get onto the beach?
That's a good goal.
I think sounds great. Day one.
I mean,
day one, we secure a beach. We make the beach into an actual landing place.
Yeah.
That's what I plan on doing today.
Yeah.
And so frustratingly, this doesn't work either. So there's a lot of planning to push. And then there's this guy who's like, okay, well, I'm not going to plan that. And it really would have paid off to have one of those really hard drivers in this place. But we have Stopford instead, who takes lots of naps.
I love naps.
You'd love him. So they're just like sitting around on these beaches, and Stopford's like, that's good. This is fine. Thanks for getting here. Play some football, chaps. No need to expedite your journey to your objective. Meanwhile, men with dysentery are dying up on the ridges of Tunic Bar, just trying their hardest not to shit themselves or get shot. And they can literally see Suvla Bay, and these men just like kicking about a football, and they're like,
you know what I would do?
What are you doing? Quit?
No, I would aim my ass in that direction and hope that I shit on one of them.
Aim your pasty blinding ass at one of them.
Yes.
Shoot shit at them.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers think you're going to sit there and play football? Nuh-uh. I shit on your football.
So Sir Ian Hamilton comes by to see what's going on. He's like, hey guys, what you doing? Struggle. It is a struggle, Tim. And Stofford's like, we chilling. And Hamilton's like, you shouldn't be chilling. Get those fucking men up the hill. And they were like, duh, okay, I guess we'll get moving. But the time that they had wasted or stalled was wonderful for the defenders.
Oh, I'm sure.
I feel like I'm just like repeating myself. Von Sanders realizes that, oh shit, they're really putting all these troops at Suvla. And Mustafa's like, I told you they would, you dumb German prick. And all the remaining units that were up north at Bulair run down to Anzac and Suvla. Now it's a race up Teka Tepe, literally. At dawn on August 9th, 3 days later, they were wondering, where's David
And
his bags?
I texted Alexis.
Yeah, I texted Stopford. I'm sorry for ignoring like one text, Birdwood. So that's exactly what happened.
Yes.
And the British and the Ottoman troops are on the opposite side of this mountain. And they're each just running as fast as they can to get to the top of the hill. The Ottomans ran basically like they just like fucking literally like day and night ran from Bulair. And they were like trying to get there. And the troops at Suvla were like, yawn, I guess we'll get up now and go for the mountain. And the Ottomans, because they ran forever and ever, got there first, but literally only by a matter of minutes.
That's crazy.
Minutes. And they repelled the Brits all the way back down.
Good.
Push them all the way back. So there's a lot of awful fighting, lots of leadership changes because they can't really get it right. Confusion and explosive diarrhea reign supreme. People are dying on both sides and everywhere. Throughout August, the Allies try to take Scimitar Hill, which is in the saddle of the Saribar Range near Chunuk Bair. The saddle is like in between two mountains, in case people don't know.
They know now.
They do now. And that's where the New Zealanders were supposed to be. There are two more major offensive that I want to talk about that the Allies make before they have to make a decision about what they're going to do on Gallipoli. Like, stay or go. Should I stay or should I go now? It is trouble, no matter what. But the first offensive on August 21st on the foothills of Chunuk Bair with Scimitar Hill as the ultimate objective. That's where they're going to get. What was left of the 29th Division from Cape Helles comes on up, and what's left of the 11th, and a party of like mix of Anzac and the Yeomanry and the 2nd Mounted Division are all there in reserve roles. The Yeomanry is just a volunteer cavalry unit, but they're somehow different from the Light Horse Brigade and the 2nd Mounted Division.
Is it because they actually have horses?
No.
Oh.
Nobody has a horse.
That's stupid.
It is really, really hard to ride horses for all that fucking bullshit. And like when they fall into the trenches, they break their legs and it's just a bad time.
Yeah.
But at least you dropped a horse on someone.
That shit's heavy.
Just saying. This time it went really well for the Ottomans.
Okay.
The Allied bombardment was ineffective due to haze, and they didn't know where they were firing. And the Ottomans were like, okay, we're good. The attack was to start at 3 p.m., and by 5 p.m., it was over. The 11th Division went over the top and were promptly flattened. The 29th faced heavy casualties before they even left the trenches due to Ottoman shelling. Here's a quote that sums it up so well, I don't have to. Captain Guy Nightingale says this about it. Quote, at 3 p.m., the battalions shoved off 700 strong. The furthest any of us got was 500 yards. That's 5 football fields. And none came back from there. They had all gotten mown down by machine gun fire. We lost 9 officers and nearly 400 men. The Turks were shelling us very heavily, and the whole country, which was covered in gorse, caught fire. This split up the attack. Parties got cut up. Many of our wounded were burnt alive, and it was the nastiest sight I ever want to see. End quote.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
That must have smelled real good.
And hearing your wounded comrades, like,
Burning?
as fire is eating them alive, it's...
If that was me, I'd be like, one of you needs to shoot me right now.
Yeah, like, do you still have your weapon? Can you just bayonet yourself? I don't know. Oh, God.
For real. Nah. Couldn't be me.
And this time, Hamilton's there. Hamilton's watching this whole thing go down from the top of Kirich Tepe. And he looks at this as wounded men are trying to crawl away from forest fire. And he thinks, I am so fired.
Yep.
And he was. General Monroe comes in on October 30th, just in time for Halloween.
Woot.
And he looked at the situation as it was and called up London and said, "Hey, London, want to hear something spooky? Do you know how many men are dead? Told you it was going fine, did they? Just a few more men needed? Well, London, ma'am, over half of the ones you sent them are already spent. Yes, ma'am, shut up and shit themselves. Bad time of it. We best leave."
Yeah, we need to get out of here.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
That's what most of them were saying, except for Hamilton was like, I don't think so. It'll take 3 days to get you out of there. We just can't.
Clearly, this is not working. We need to leave.
If you just try harder, it will work because they're poorly trained.
Listen here, Hamilton.
And stupid.
I'm going to write this book about you. Motherfucker.
It's just like a burn book.
It might
Regina George is a fugly bitch.
I haven't actually read it, so it could be.
I bet it is. Okay. General Monroe gave this 1-star review based on what he saw at Gallipoli. It's a bit long, and I'm sure he opened it with, "I never leave reviews like this, and I'm not one to complain, but..." Quote, "The beaches and piers upon which they depended for all requirements and personnel and material were exposed to registered and observed artillery fire. Our trenches were dominated almost thoroughly by the Turks. The possible artillery positions were insufficient and defective. The force, in short, held a line possessing every possible military defect. The position was without depth, the communications were insecure and dependent upon weather. No means existed for the concealment and deployment of fresh troops destined for the offensive, whilst the Turks enjoyed the full power of observation, abundant artillery positions, and they had been given time to supplement the natural advantages of their position with all of the devices at their disposal of the field engineer." End quote.
He's pissed.
Uh-huh.
He's real pissed.
Your dad said confusion. Yes, confusion. Kitchener responds with, "Well, I better come down there and see for myself. Oh my God, the horror, the dead bodies, the corpse flies, the lack of water and proper sanitation, the dysentery.
We need to get out of here."
And with that, the evacuation was planned.
Good.
And it was arguably the best planned and executed part of the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. I wasn't even there, but I believe it.
I'm just glad this part fucking went well.
Yeah.
This is usually the part in which you are in the most danger when you are leaving.
This is when you're leaving.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just like.
Well, no, I'm sure the Ottomans and, whoever else were just watching them fucking finally. All right.
Just you wait.
Oh, God.
Okay. At the end of November 1915, it was decided that they would very carefully evacuate all of the troops on the peninsula, but not before 16,000 additional casualties could be counted because of frostbite and exposure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
They are too. Originally, the plan was to hold on to Cape Helles, to stay at Cape Helles, to deter U-boats and whatnot from the Ottomans getting out and terrorizing the Allies.
Just give up.
Luckily for those men, those in high places changed their mind, and Cape Helles could go too.
Jesus Christ.
I'm glad you're getting so much anxiety out of this because I had anxiety writing this whole thing, and I'm really glad that it's portraying well.
I'm just fucking annoyed. Why are you so dumb? Sorry. Because
they had colonized so much. I'm sorry about my mic. And they had just diseased their way into taking over people, and really were
not this time.
Not this time. They got their butts kicked.
Good.
So Anzac and Suvla were set to start evacuating December 15th. And over the next 5 nights, evacuate the 83,000 troops there without alerting the Ottomans they were packing up. So they have to get out quickly and quietly. Redeemed. This is a redemption arc. The plan was to draw down the troop numbers slowly night after night, leaving small units to watch the front and eventually just a rear guard as they all fell back.
Okay.
Won't the Ottomans notice, though, that no one's shooting at them? No, because for random nights leading up to the evacuation, the Allied soldiers wouldn't fire a single shot. Just silence. This acclimated the Ottomans to quiet nights, so they wouldn't notice when less guns were being fired.
Okay.
The last 2 nights, there were only 10,000 men at Anzac and another 10,000 at Suvla. If an attack were to be launched by the Ottomans at that time, it would be a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
At Suvla, the rear guard consisted of just 250 men and 6 machine guns. So they're sweating because they can still hear rifle fire and explosions over at Anzac.
Yeah.
There's still stuff happening, and they're supposed to be getting off that goddamn land.
Yeah.
Finally, at 4 a.m. on December 20th, the last men step off of the beach at Suvla. At Anzac, it was a little bit harder because they had less room to maneuver. Some of the parts of the line were like right on the beach, and also some of them were as far apart as you and I.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. Like if I were just to get up and leave, you'd be like, hey, where are you going?
Yeah.
So we have to try to trick you into thinking that I'm still somehow sitting in this chair,
Okay.
even though I'm leaving.
I think if that were me, I just would lean over and be like, I'm peacing out. Merry Christmas. Have a good day.
You're Muslim.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm leaving. Don't shoot me. Like,
you can't just let your enemy leave, though. So it's harder. For this to work, each of the 170 remaining men, their rear guards, so they pull everybody off, and they have 170 men left. And they were each given a little note card, the specific time that they were going to leave their post, and what to do when they left. Some men were supposed to haul out supplies, some were supposed to throw grenades, some were to blow up a gun with a mine, set up automatic rifles.
Yeah.
They each had their name, the time they were to leave, and what they were supposed to do when they left.
okay.
Miners were still in the tunnels, making little diggy scratchy noises so that the listening posts wouldn't hear the lack of footfall in the trenches.
Okay.
So they were just putting on like theater here.
Yeah.
The rear guard had an extremely athletic time of it. Each man would be in charge of 10 to 15 firing bays, and I meant to look up how far apart those were, but I did not. And they would have to fire them in random succession, but also kind of at the same time to avoid alerting the enemy to the fact that there's just one dude sprinting around between them. It's like Forrest Gump's dream job. I
would
just
hate that
ran.
I just kept on running.
I just kept on running. So they're just like, pew, 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 pew. And I have to go random all over the time. And also keep an eye on their watch because you have to leave very specifically at a certain time.
If they're still in sync, which they probably aren't, but okay.
We sure fucking hope. Okay. Now the Ottomans are kind of suspicious because oh, sorry. I skipped ahead. They're all off the beaches now. And miraculously, no casualties.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. So whatever stores and supplies they couldn't get off the beaches, they just like blew up or lit on fire. And the Ottomans poke their heads out of their trenches and they go, what the fuck? And they're like, oh my God, they just left. And they go, what are you doing down at Cape Less? Oops. It's weird that they didn't evacuate them at the same time. They waited until January 1916 to evacuate Cape Helles.
Okay.
And I don't get it. There were 42,000 British troops at Cape Helles. And if you remember, their lines were further away from the beaches. So they were 4 miles. So they had further to go from the front to safety.
Yeah.
And rosary beads. Is that your aunt?
Probably.
I'm turning this off. Shut up, Sharon.
I mean, like I said, I did not sage before we started.
I'm gonna do that next time. Okay,
Yeah.
so boop, 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 boop. Okay, so they have more time that they have to run back, which I think is interesting that they didn't start this sooner because obviously you're going to notice something weird happening, and now you have further to run before you get to safety, and more time that the lack of their presence is going to be noticed. And all of that artillery that was aimed at Anzac and Suvla has been moved down to KPLS. So they have more guns
Yeah,
on
so
them
there's
now.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just getting like shittier and shittier. But the evacuation plan is pretty much the same. They slowly start working people off. The final night of the KPLS evacuations was January 9th. They did the same shooting and not shooting thing, but on New Year's Eve, they just like lit it up. They're like, boom, 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 boom. And the Ottomans were like, I think they're trying to leave. And the French were gone on the 1st. There were only 19,000 British troops left, and the Ottomans were onto them, and they decide to attack.
The Ottomans decide to attack.
The retreating 19,000 British troops.
That's shitty.
But instead of a massacre, nothing happens. The Ottoman troops mutinied at that very moment and refused to go forward with the attack on the retreating British troops.
Because they're leaving?
Possibly. And they're like, this is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I'd be like, we just fucking won. What do you...
Sorry. Right, okay. The men who made up the rear guard were the men of the Royal Naval Division. Always here by divisions.
Division.
They're just here to like fuck around.
Yeah.
I mean, they also served and like died, so I don't want to like really take it down, but like they also get like the fun jobs sometimes. Their task was setting up as many booby traps as possible.
Boobies.
Okay,
you're gonna hate me. I have to pee so bad.
Oh my god, I'm almost done. No, you shut up and you wait.
Okay.
I'm at the end of this. You wait.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna be a little extra fidgety.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
I don't know why I didn't pee before we started this.
I don't know either.
Okay.
According to the History of Great War podcast, the British Empire had over 200,000 casualties. The French Empire had about 50,000, and the Ottomans, although it's kind of a harder number to pin down, 250 to 300,000 casualties.
Okay.
I found a website that provided me with like separate numbers for everybody. So Australia and New Zealand are listed separately than those numbers. They all coincide.
Okay.
But Australia and New Zealand are separate. Of the 50,000 Australia men who served in Gallipoli, between 75 and 8,700 died during service, and an additional 18 to 19,000 were non-fatally wounded or sick.
Damn.
Using the lower ends of those numbers, over half of the Australians at Gallipoli were casualties.
Shit.
And that is just the lower end.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. For New Zealand, they sent 8,500 men. Of those, 24 to 2,700 died. Another 4,700 were non-fatally wounded. That leaves just over 1,000 men who came out without physical wounds.
Physical wounds, yeah.
Of 8,500. Yep.
That's crazy.
But this is one case in which the battle was over by Christmas for most of the men involved.
Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Actually, they're Muslim, so.
Not the Australians.
I know, I'm just trying to be a dick because you were a dick, made me feel stupid.
They don't celebrate Christmas. But you know what? I am a dick because I don't know what they celebrate. Tell me in the comments.
Yes.
I'm
Sorry.
ashamed. All right, so that's it.
No, you're right. You really were almost done. I guess I shouldn't have told you I had to pee.
I'm like 5 full points from the end. You shut up and you sit still. And that's it.
So what I take from this war is just British were idiots. The Ottomans are like, you're idiots.
Thanks for holding up, because now we had time to prepare all of our shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is ours.
Yep. And what a waste of human life. I mean, like most war, but like,
yeah,
the way that trench warfare is just
it's
so,
gross.
It was so awful.
It's so gross.
Just massacre.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I can just only like imagine the smells.
Oh, there is one thing. I'm sorry. I do want to look up one thing real quick.
You fucking bitch.
I'm sorry, I lied. But this one's really important. There's beaches, or there's cemeteries and memorials for both sides still on Gallipoli today.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this is the one at Lone Pine, has this inscription from Mustafa Kemal, and his name has changed to Ataturk because he was the first president of Turkey.
Oh, cool.
And that means like the father of the Turks. So he got a new name. And in 1934, they erect this plaque or whatever. And he wrote these famous words to the mothers of his former enemies. Quote, "Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets to us, for they lie side by side. Here in this country of ours, you, the mothers who sent their sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are at peace, after having lost their lives on this land where they have become our sons as well."
Oh,
End quote.
that's really sweet.
Oh,
What a good guy.
it was real spell of him.
Yeah.
So now that's it. I just want to end on a little bit of an upper, you know?
Yeah, you need one every once in a while.
That's it.
Well,
Ta-da! How
You
long did
tell-
this one take?
an hour. You tell everyone about our socials. I'm gonna go fucking.
What am I supposed to do? I don't know how to turn it off. No.
You just hit that.
Okay.
Ah!
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in wherever you did. You can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout. Find our social medias. We are on Instagram at thatsomac_podcast. Give us a follow, leave us a comment. We are now on YouTube as well. Please subscribe, leave comments, tell us what you think, like our videos, and yeah, leave comments everywhere. Leave really nice comments all over the place. And if you don't have anything nice to say, just shut your goddamn mouth. Okay, love you, bye.
Dead bodies everywhere.
Wounded people everywhere. Churchill's like, some of you may die. That's okay with me.
Connor, do a clip of the Korn song "Dead Bodies Everywhere."
I don't know if we're allowed to.
Probably not, but